Hi, it's Rosie at RoseByNameCo. I'm back again with another video, and today I will show you another shelf in the series of my videos of what's on my shelf. So today I chose this one, which is the first one next to the one that I already showed you. And we'll start from the bottom and move to the top, but we're gonna go a little bit more closely. So for those who like books and collections and things, we'll check out what each of my shelves has here. What did I collect, and what am I trying to hold on to that maybe I should get rid of. So I do have a few books down here. These ones are mostly about either SeaWorld or birds or just more general animals. And so this one here, The Mystery of Migration, is a good book to have. It does have quite a lot about birds and different things about migration. So over here, very vintage book with those very matte pages, not shiny. So this is a good one. The Sea Around Us. And children's illustrated atlas or dictionaries are always good to have. So I have one in here with the different animals and so on. And then sometimes I have some foreign books that have some different images that I'm looking for. And Canadian wildlife. And the Jumbo Book of Nature Science. So sometimes those illustrations are handy. Simple animals, and looks like one of my, it's upside down, but one of my old photo albums. And this one, the DuPont family, is really about autobiography about the DuPont family. And in it, I find something sometimes when I'm doing a story in the journal, then I find some people, vintage looking photos of people in here. So in Transylvania, look at this. In Transylvania, I do find some things like for the Wolfology series or the fortune teller, something in there sometimes. Drawing with imagination. So any time I see a book about painting or learning how to paint and so on, they have very good illustrations in there as well. School atlas. And then on the next shelf, a lot of my magazines, just my celebrity magazines, which I love, of course. And I have a whole pile of them. And those are the things really I need to get rid of sometimes because they just amass and I have too many. This is some vintage wrapping paper that I sometimes use. And then over here, I did recently find some more ledger paper and graph paper. And this is a little bit almost like cardstock, a little bit thicker than normal, just white paper. So a whole stack of them for, I don't know, just a few cents. And then it looks like maybe this is a drawing pad, maybe that I did some drawing in. And some paintings and so on, and some old book pages that I've coffee stained. I haven't used them yet. And some, looks like very old paper. I did have a scrapbook. Somebody made up a scrapbook. Not me, I found it at the antique shop, I believe. And I just took the pages. The pages were kind of out of the book, but I took the pages. So very old paper here that I'll be using at some point. And looks like some more down here as well. So a lot of paper on this shelf. And then on this shelf, I have more. It looks like some cuttings over here of newspapers. And then I found this book, The Complete Works of Shakespeare. And I thought, my God, the pages were beautiful. I could really use this in a journal. But once I brought it home, I saw what an amazing book it is. And I haven't seen one like this in the past. And I thought, oh my God, I can't cut it. So that is the dilemma with loving books and wanting to cut them up. There is always that difficulty and that conflict between, do I want to cut it up once I bring it home? Then some, over here, some encyclopedia, dictionaries, or some older dictionaries. Dictionaries I'm okay with cutting up. And I have a thesaurus. I'm not sure if this might be mine from high school or something. So something like that I might not cut up. I might keep this one. And then here, some maybe file folders in an unusual color. And then a box full of envelopes, which of course is something like a forgotten stash because I haven't used it much lately. And I have to get into the box and start using it. So this is the bottom section. Here's the books over here and the paper over here. And I don't know, this is, I guess maybe we use this for New Year's or something. So I will get to the next shelf. So on the next shelf, I have a book. I don't know, I must have been cutting something out of this one. It's spread open. I believe this is the Book of Knowledge, very old, and those very silky feeling paper pages. So I do get things out of it quite often. Looks like I have some Christmas stationery here, like computer stationery. And I found somewhere a whole bunch of it at some thrift store somewhere, and then some other papers that I have, many different types of papers, and looks like these are just clear plastic, and then some of that soft old typing paper or butter paper. That's very handy for when you're making, or you print out an old article and to make it look really more vintage. That is a good paper for it. And then all kinds of other papers that I've collected. Let me see. Yeah, the old foolscap. Remember that word? Oh, we use the foolscap all the time. Where's my foolscap? I need some more foolscap. And just lots and lots of different papers that I'm using. I am using it all the time. I'm using something different for a journal. Then over here I have a little bit, looks like a little Chinese notebook and some stationery and a book and well, a little bit of dust here maybe. And yeah, this I found recently is notes stationery, and on the envelopes as well, so I'll use that sometimes. And then I have two of these, which are just very thick notebooks kind, and they're good to have too, because you're always doodling with some ideas, and I'm always writing down whatever it is I'm doing, so that if I have measurements and so on for future, if I want to make an exact thing again. These ones I believe are maybe very old Bibles, and I probably won't be touching that. I believe I found this one at the house, and very old, in this very used, in this leather cover, which somebody looks like has folded over a bit in having a lot of use out of it. So I won't be touching those. But I have some other random books here that I can use. And then I don't know what's in here. Looks like maybe just a variety of little things that I go to sometimes for when I make the tassels. So some little trinkets and beads and so on. And I'm not sure, this is also maybe something Chinese in there. And some books that I already used the covers. And now I have the rest of it to use up as well. So that's this shelf. And then my collection of notebooks. There's a whole bunch of notebooks that I've bought over the years, and some of them are actually written in. I believe I've written in this one, and some of them, but half of them I would say are blank. I haven't used them yet. There's a tiny one up here. What's this one? Let me just see. Some pictures of the family and so on. So a couple of them I think are photo albums, and the rest are notebooks of all kinds. So here's some more notebooks. If sometimes just the cover, of course. I like the cover. I buy the notebook. And sometimes just the way the cover is made as well. And this one has roses on it, so of course I would have that. And this one also has, this is rose stationery, very beautiful. And on top I have some of the title frames from Tim Holtz. My thank you cards, and then looks like a box full of paper in here. And this here is the horns that light up. This is a trinket or a memento from the AC/DC concert that we went to. My husband is a big AC/DC fan, so maybe in the last 10 years, or I'm not sure exactly how long, not like too terribly long. We went to a concert that they had in Toronto, and it was a big sellout, and we had a really, really good time. Angus Young is still, of course, God on guitar, and everything was really good. I enjoyed it. And then over here is a small book, but very filled with color. So when I do colors, then I sometimes look to this book, Life in Color. And I found these two little books, which I wanted to turn into lap books, Bible handbook. So not the Bible per se, but some kind of learning tool, I guess, book. And more like a Reader's Digest size. And there was two of the same size, so I wanted to turn these into lap books. And then here, just some large index cards that I will use at some point. Some more stationery, some craft paper over here, some different things. This is more like nuts and bolts for hanging things. Over here I have, looks like maybe an art section. I have my beads here. I have some Tombow markers and so on, some sparkles and different markers, and book about drawing. And on occasion I try to draw. I can draw a little bit. I'm not saying I'm any great artist or anything, but I try to enjoy that as well. And then Treasury of Cherubs address book. Oh, that's cute. So that's something in there, I guess, I'll be using at some point. Over here I have some fiction books, and then some of my CDs of family photos and so on. Over there is my grandson peeking through behind the apple, and this little candy house. And then my daughter, that's his mother when she was a baby, the boy's mother. And then over here is the same boy, and then his brother. So Brandon and Jackson, they're so cute. Now they're a little bit older, but over here, some other books. These I bought two of because I'm going to be using the covers in my future journals, and then some old photos, and let me see, something called snapshots. And in this little book, snapshots are snapshots, I don't know, from somebody who maybe just printed their thing from Instagram or something. And so also there's some interesting images in here that I, well, maybe not that one. See, not that one. Maybe this one I will use in some kind of journal. And then I have a box of cards with owls. I've used that already, so I'll use some more. And some snail mail envelopes in the back. So that is this shelf here. So on the very top, well, first of all, I have an old heart here from when my husband and I were still, I don't know, maybe dating or newly married, and he gave me that, and I still have it. And I thought when we were moving houses that I was just going to get rid of it. And I thought, no, why? I'll just put it up somewhere, and here it is. It's still alive and well. So this is the top shelf. It has some, well, fake fruits on top. And over here, I do pick up these, and I use them on occasion, which is the paint chips at the store. So they come in handy sometimes when I'm doing some kind of particular color. Well, book about Jack Nicholson, one of my favorite actors, and Elvis, of course, my favorite singer, and some different, what does it say here? Beautiful Phenomena, Closer, watercolor, Let's Get Started, pregnancy book, but it has some beautiful images with mother and child in there. Summer of 1987, my old photo album, Our Family Tree, and Literary England, very beautiful black and white photos, but very beautiful paper as well on this one. A little bit of, you know, chocolate for later, Christmas chocolate. And over here, some old books. Looks like I've already taken the cover off, or the cover was crumbling. So I don't know if this might have a date on it. Oh, there, 1955. So anyways, that's at least when somebody bought it. And some old papers in here, file folders and so on. Impressionists by the Sea, beautiful paintings in there. Some music paper, postage stamp book. So these are always handy to have. The flute. My old stamp collection and albums, but I thought I was going to, yay, I have stamps, I'm going to use them. I have not used them yet. I bought some, off eBay or somewhere at a thrift shop, wherever I find everyday stamps, and I use those instead. So these are still in here. This is an album. There's nothing in it, but it has paper in it. I will show you. That has the parchment paper in between. Let me just finish this shelf because it's almost done. So one of my old photo albums and more notebooks. Of course, you can never have enough notebooks. Some from Europe with good graph paper and so on. So that is the top shelf. And let me just show you that book with the parchment paper. Okay, so here's that big photo album. It is one of those where you glue your photos on the page, and in between the white pages are these crinkly parchment paper kind leaflets to protect the photographs. So I use this. I bought it for a couple of dollars, this book. I have the white paper that I can use, which is kind of like a cardstock, thicker paper for when I need something thicker. And then I have also the parchment paper, which I use often in pockets and on tags or different things that I can coffee stain it or just use it as it is. It doesn't matter. So if you see something like, definitely pick this up because you will have many uses from it. So I have taken out a few pages already, and I will put this back on the shelf over here and be done with this What's on My Shelf episode from Rosie at RoseByNameCo. Take care. Bye-bye.